Genie grinding, watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,
Hello world, it's What If Study, and today we are doing What If Deku was betrayed by Class 1A, part 6? Part 7, actually. Yes, we will continue with Deku, coming out of the shop, taking out some of the rebar that he had flown into, and also, sweeping away the stuff. He holds a shotgun down to the left of his hand. Of course, Jester taking control of, All Might's body, Alpha One's body, is currently sapping all of the electricity from everywhere around him right now, as the torrential downpour from the storm above, continues to just reign supreme over this. As he collects it all into a lightning ball inside of his hands, he says, 20 seconds, Deku! 20 seconds until your wish comes true. You wouldn't dare stop me now, would you? Would you? What do you think a shotgun's gonna do now? Deku looks up to him. Fuck. He looks to his right as Pride walks into view. Pride takes up a cutter's axe, a throwing axe actually, and puts it into his right hand. Deku looks up to him as he nods. Deku cautiously takes up the axe and aims with his left hand, trying to get the exact pinpoint position of the lightning ball in sight. If he was to explode it here, it would take out everything in the town. And possibly but it would be worse if he throws it. This thing could kill the whole nation. You wouldn't even dare. However, you see, if I condense it in my hand, well, it'll kill you in an instant. Deku, starts to, like a sweat comes off of his brow as he aims down and pokes up the right of his arm. Gluttony starts to take hold as all of the people seem to have their energy sapped away from them. Deku's eyes flare up once again. You know what? And you talk too much! As then he throws it, and the sheer force behind it creates a sound wave. Jester starts to sweat as this thing starts coming after him. Right, he's about 60 feet away from him, and by 3 seconds, it instantly gets straight to his face. However, he just moves the energy orb out of the way to his stomach, kind of like hurtling it inside of his stomach, and he says, "Wait, where'd it go?" You missed? And then Pride's like, he missed. He's like, you missed, you idiot. What are you talking about? What's to say I wasn't aiming for you? The shotgun aimed straight to his face as he had used shadow transfer to get behind him while he ducked in the middle of the air. Deku's currently floating as his weight starts to gain. He puts the energy orb in front of him, saying, "You can't defeat me!" As then Deku fires, exploding the energy orb right in the face of Alpha One and him. Both of them are sent out into the mountains, flying across back to where they had been tossed to, as everybody in the town are just left to be mesmerized by the confusion is not even on the levels of Mortal Plane. The confusion between everybody is just like, okay, that guy was fighting a villain. He saved us. Let's go back to normal work. That was it. And they're just like, holy shit, what was that? So basically, they fly through the mountains again as they're on their way back to the fighting place, where basically all the prison break continues. Deku took very little of the damage, actually, and it was mostly dealt towards Alpha One, as he just crashes down into a crater, and and knocks his head on the prison wall, where a body can be found that was when Deku had been thrown into the wall by Alpha One. A similar, part of it also has some of his head bashed into it. The grounds of the prison break had now been set ablaze as Endeavor had rolled up on the scene. Endeavor had taken basically Lust captive and also defeated Greed. Currently, he's like dealing with Wrath, who is kind of like deflecting all of his flames back at him, and he's very much struggling with that. All Might Alpha One barely wakes up. However, he's covered in dust as he can barely even see. Jester, in a demonic voice, says, "Oh, this body," as he can barely control the head anymore, as the massive explosion had happened all inside of him. He had barely used his hard skin and also his revival quirk, which allowed him to stay awake, even in the harshest of times, to keep himself awake from Alpha One's arsenal. He uses Undead Command to keep his body alive like a marionette, as his body twists around and turns like a demonic sort of possession had happened. He picks up his body kind of slowly, as then he looks up to find a shotgun right in his face. "Sorry. Oh, Bessie here. Kinda wants a round too." As he's like, "You bastard." He fires the shotgun. But Alpha One stops it in the air using energy shield. You thought, and then he uses shadow swap again, going behind him, and then, "You bastard. Sorry, chap, but I don't care anymore about world domination." As then the axe is shoved straight into the head of All Might Alpha One. He starts using regeneration and hard skin to restitch his head back together, as Deku's forcing the axe into his head, as he starts chopping his head off like a tree, putting all of his back into it. Slice 1, slice 2, slice 3, and then on the fourth one, there's about an inch left of skin and thing, as he twists his head around to look at Deku, and he grabs onto the axe and bulks up his arm and starts making drills, and the left arm punches at Deku. However, it skids past him, but taking a lot of Deku's skin with it, as all the drills start to roll across his face and drag his skin. This scars Deku plenty later, and it also causes quite a lot of trauma for him at this point, because he's starting to regain his humanity. However, his hard skin comes into play here and stops it from doing too much damage to his internal organs. Deku uses this and goes onto his hands, which he has never done, sort of sliding around and using his legs instead, going upside down, and kicks in the axe for the final kick, splitting All For One's head off. And as his head flies through the air, the massive shockwave that happened from him using his legs starts to clear around the field, causing dust and everything to spur up. The head slowly falls, and then Deku reaches out his hand and grabs on. He rips off the mask as he places it back onto himself. It's done. Oh my god! Oh, this was exhilarating! Oh, God. I don't want to kill the world anymore. Sorry, Marionette. I'm sure you're still alive. And you're right, as the head starts talking. I will never stop. I will fulfill your wish. No matter what. And he's like, good luck. While I'm here, that won't happen. You think you can defend the world without the sin's powers? I believe in my own. Hogwash! You couldn't defend a lily. You have depended on their powers this far, and you will continue to. Not as long as I have old Bessie next to me. A gun? Not only any gun. Double-barreled, bitch. I think it's time to say goodbye. He puts the shotgun to the head of Alpha One. He says, I'll just come back. And I'll be right here to stop you. And just... the head just goes flying off into the distance. He turns around, sort of feeling himself again, and kind of recomposes his back, bringing his chest out again. As he starts to feel this gusto, this feeling of he can do anything anymore. Now, right, like he is gone. His wish to bring everything down is gone. He can now do what he likes to. He can return back to his life. First thing is trying to, recover his relationship with almost everybody that he knows. That includes his mother. Maybe say sorry to the heroes that I almost killed. However, that thought kind of is interrupted by a huge flame blast that comes straight towards him as he cuts through it with the axe. He looks forward, as the fireball explodes off into the distance on both sides of him. The axe still brimming with fire. It's still hot enough to cut through wood in one slice. He looks forward with looking through the mask. That red dots in his eyes as he starts to feel the adrenaline kick back in. Who was it? He sees Wrath. Wrath just says, "What are you doing, Deku? Where is Marionette? What have you done? Don't know anything you would regret, Deku. Remember, you are still my champion. You will do as I No! Wrath, I thought you had died. All of these pitiful people on the ground? No. I would never be killed by them. These heroes you talk about. You really are the worst. Time to put you in the grave. Once and for all. I welcome it, Deku. Another one of our training lessons. As then before they just start charging at him as Wrath leaves a sort of magma pool in every single step that he takes at Deku. As he starts to heat up further and further as his horns grow bigger and bigger. He starts to encompass Deku as they get closer and closer, 50 feet, 30 feet, and then this massive explosion happens in the middle of them as Gluttony shows himself once again. His massive boulder-like body cementing the road between both Deku and Wrath. As Wrath says, I thought I had defeated you! That was but a copy of me. I will now live on forever. Bullshit! I will always find a way to defeat you. Wrath says, Go on, Deku. Go live out your life, eating, feasting upon those who do evil. Deku says, Why are you helping me? Why else? I find your story more than exciting. It gives me something to feast upon. I guess we all have a little bit of gluttony inside of us. Go. Be with your friends. As he turns his massive body, this 100-foot body, basically like Janemba, first form, and he just turns to see Wrath as Wrath jumps up. And it's like, you thought I'd let you? And then Wrath, that battle starts. He starts making his way inside the hospital as massive explosions are found, I'd say like Bakugo just it rolls out from a smoking room and just rolls and hits his head against one of the pipes and is knocked out. as then blood starts showering in, and then Deku runs in front of the blood, like as it all ricochets against his skin, and it all just falls down to the ground and then starts to soak back into the fiery room. Bloodrayne walks out of it, his eyes sort of coated in red, as his neck seems to have gotten a few stitches since last time. As Bloodrayne says, "Maybe so, Deku. Were you the one that released me?" "Why are you asking?" "I would like to repay my debt by killing this arrogant fool. I heard of your situation. I'm here to help. Of course, if you allow me to kill that boy." "Damn it, where are you, Genus?" But if you stand in my way," like blood starts to collect around the window, as it all comes around the room, and it just like floods out into the floor, and then on the glass, and then onto the ceiling, as it all encompasses him. If he starts this fight, he doesn't know if he can finish it. He stands in front of Bakugo, the arrogant bastard, although he was probably the only one that actually cared for him. "Do you still wish to fight?" "You fool." As Deku says, "I wish for you to spare him. Will you give your own life?" "No, I'm not that foolish." As, All Might's like, "That bastard." And then Deku's like, "No, I got a better idea." And then shifts, he like says, "Take one step forward and let's begin this fight with fists." As Bloodrayne's like, "You believe I would fall for that?" Deku has a glint in his eye. No, I don't believe you would." "Good. Then die." As he holds out his hand and grips down. However, his hand doesn't move from that spot. He looks down to his hand as, "Why can't I move?" Deku charges straight at him. He takes up his left hand, however, it stops moving too. What's happening? As Deku takes up the axe and then slices down onto Bloodrayne's throat, as his head also flies and then lands onto the ground. Deku looks up to see Best Genus off to the side with one of his arms missing, the other one controlling the fibers that had stopped Bloodrayne from using his arms. "So you had figured out his..." Best Genus sort of starts talking, says, "So you would find out his strategy so fast, how he used his quirk." As Deku says, "It is half my job after all. How's your arm?" "I've seen better." "That's for sure. Either way, is Bakugo okay?" Deku looks over to see Bakugo just like flipping him off. He's like, "Yeah, same as usual."